What's going on, guys? NealGuides here, and today's video we're talking about the 4-2-2 formation. This is the variant I use, and this is my attacking formation to kind of score the time finesses outside the box and the first time finesses. As usual, timestamps are in the description below, so if you want to skip to a specific part, because this video is quite long, goes a bit in depth on why I use specific instructions, then please feel free to do so. Don't worry about the team. This is not the way I start my team. This is what it kind of looks like roughly in game. My DMs, just sit in the CDM, and I have quite attacking players up front. Going straight into the custom tactics now. I use the 4-2-2 to abuse finesse shots. I normally use this formation in the 60th minute, so this is not my all-out attack formation. So the instructions I'm going to go over, basically, if you want to get a goal back, you kind of want an extra striker rather than a 4-2-3-1. Because in the 4-2-3-1, in essence, what happens is you have, let's say Ben Yedder, he normally plays as a cam. So basically, instead of a cam, basically all you're doing is Ben Yedder's moving to a striker role. So you have two strikers, and that's the kind of main difference between a 4-2-2 and a 4-2-3-1. So going to the tactics, balance is what I use. Because I manually press, as you probably watched the stream, I press square a lot. Square is my second defender press button. If you're using the default controllers, for you it should be either R1 on PS4 or right back on Xbox. So that's why I leave mine on balanced. If you do feel that maybe you want this to be a bit attacking or you want to win the ball back much quicker, you can do constant pressure, but do only use this in the last 30 or 40 minutes. If you do get a goal back and you go to extra time, your players are going to be dead. So I wouldn't recommend constant pressure. I would say maybe pressure on heavy touch, or what I like to do is use balance, manually apply pressure, and if I do feel I'm in trouble, use a D-pad tactics to apply team press, which is very similar to constant pressure. Width, the reason again is just to stop the finesse shots. People are not very rarely I see players go down the wing and cross the ball. Of course, with the Ibra SPC in now, it's a bit more common, but I don't care about the wings too much. I'd rather a player be on the wing than be over here. This is kind of the danger zone. The reason why is these are all perfectly clear angles for them to finesse the shots in. So if the width is really high, they're basically leaving more space in the middle. So if they're playing a 4-1-2-1-2, they can just break through the center. That's why I prefer to have full width. Protect the center of the goal. If they go down the wing, I don't mind, because I manually man mark with my left back or full back to kind of defend the ball coming into the box. For depth, same thing. I don't really want my depth too low, obviously, because I don't want to stop the finesse shots. It is an attacking formation. As I said, I like to press manually. So the reason I like to have lower depth is because if I do mess up the press and the player does get the ball, at least I have time to recover. Whereas if the depth was much higher, if I do lose the ball, then there's a big chance that the strikers can get into goal. But of course, if you're using this as attacking formation and you feel that 4 is a bit too low, turn this to maybe 6, maybe even 7. Don't go more than 8 though, because you can easily be countered. But I'd recommend 4 or 5 is a good depth, even for an attacking formation. Now, offensive style, if you're trying to abuse the first time finesses, you kind of want to do possession. The reason why is possession players come short, and you kind of want the player running towards you and then you want to pass to the player, and then you can do a first time finesse, if that makes sense. So that's if you want to abuse the first time finesses. That's why I wouldn't do fast build up play, because players kind of rush forward too much, and also long ball players getting behind too much. So I think balance is kind of the best thing. It's the best of all worlds. If you do know how to use L1 to trigger players to make runs in behind, use possession, because then you can always use the first time finesses, and if you do want a player to run in behind, you just press L1 to trigger the player to run in behind, sorry. Again, width, attacking, as I said, this formation is about abusing the finesse shots. I kind of want my players in the center. The reason why, again, is to kind of just fly finesse shots in from all angles. Unfortunately, this is the best way to score this year, so I don't want it too wide, because if it is too wide, what happens is my players are kind of out of play, and my cams, because essentially with a 4-2-2, the cams actually end up become like they kind of push forward, and they end up being like left wings and right wings. So I kind of want them as narrow as possible and kind of almost almost towards the middle of the goal, and that's why my players in the box is very low. Corners, again, I don't actually pass corners. It's on 3 because sometimes, occasionally, when I bring Jamie Vardy on, I try to head at the ball. But mainly it's on 2 or 3. 90% of corners I pass. Free kicks, again, I don't worry too much about this because I actually pass all my free kicks. I don't actually take a free kick shot. Going into the instructions now, genuinely speaking, I like to play this formation with both my strikers on stay forward. This because I kind of want my 2 strikers kind of occupying the opponent's centre backs, and Promise and Mkhitaryan, which are my 2 cams, because they push forward. Like I said, it essentially becomes a 4-2-4, this formation. So I like to have good players here who can kind of do a finesse shot, got good long shots basically. And I want these players to kind of target the fullbacks, and of course my CDMs can always push forward if need be, manually using the L1 triggers. But I put these guys on stay back. I wouldn't recommend stay forward unless you're an extremely good defender. Unless you use drop back, don't put these on stay forward, because I just think they kind of remain too forward and they're too out of the game. They're not acting as wingers, but they're kind of acting as centre mids either. They're kind of acting as just cams, just roaming around, staying forward. So I'd recommend balanced or come back on defense. CDMs, as usual, for me the most OP thing this year is cut passing lanes and stay back while attacking. Cover center, the reason why it's on cover center because my cams are on comeback on defense, and they're the wider players, so they will cover the wings. So I don't really need to worry about the center, and as I said, I want to protect the middle. That's where the finesse shots are going to come from. Now fullbacks, I put them on stay back. If you do feel the game is getting away from you want to be a bit more attacking, maybe you can put maybe one of your fullbacks on balanced, and they'll kind of push forward when need be. But what's key with this formation is actually overlap. People don't really leave these on default, and people need to understand that this is actually very important, especially with formations. Inverted makes runs inside of the wide player. So what happens is if I do a 1-2 with Mkhitaryan in this instance, Valencia would kind of run inside and Mkhitaryan would push outside. Now I don't want this, 1, because I'll be exposed to the counter attack, and 2, I don't want Valencia to be inside of Mkhitaryan because he can't shoot. So that's why I leave them both on overlap. What overlap does is the fullbacks make overlapping runs on the outside, and what that actually does is if I do a 1-2 Mkhitaryan, Valencia will push forward down the wing, and that will give more space for Mkhitaryan to drop in. What happens here is the opposition's left back has to defend against Valencia, so it essentially creates more space for Mkhitaryan in the middle, and that's why I use overlap on my fullbacks. Of course, this is how I use the formation. This is a specific way I use it. If you can also adjust the formation. So, for example, Ben Yedder's got high work rate, so you can put him on comeback on defense. If you still want to, if you like using the 4-2-2 and you want to be a bit more defensive, and you can leave someone like Dembele on balance because he's got a high low work rate. So there's good ways to play around with this formation. You have a lot of variety. Of course, if you want to go all out attack, you can always go stay forward on your strikers. Have maybe one of these on stay forward, so you have 3 players up front, and maybe even have one of your CDMs on balance, maybe the one that's the most attacking. So it's a really good formation. It's quite variant. I would say I highly recommend to try it. These are the 2 formations I play. So if the 4-2-3-1 doesn't work, and I can't get it behind, then essentially that's when I change to the 4-2-2. As I said, the only thing that's different is that instead of the cam in the 4-2-3-1, you kind of have an extra striker. So it's a really good formation. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is the formation and instructions that you probably requested. If you do like these videos, do let me know. If you have any other formation requests, please let me know in the description. In the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, boys.